This is the July paid Substack Live with me on today. We're going to talk about some cholesterol again. This month we've been talking about cholesterol and its effects on our body and all of this. And it's very interesting how we handle this, right? Like, I actually just had a patient send a message and she was like, my cholesterol is higher than it's ever been, and I'm going to have to go a different direction and all of that. And I was like, let's look at all the markers together on your labs and let's talk about this because cholesterol is just a snapshot of the inflammation that's happening. And I want to just share some things. If you are someone, hi, Lisa. If you are someone who struggles with your cholesterol, I want you to know that there are so many factors going into cholesterol that the total cholesterol number is just a snapshot that tells us your level of inflammation going on in your body. So, this patient today, she sent this message and her husband's upset about it. And I totally get it because he is still stuck in the traditional mindset that cholesterol bad, cholesterol heart attack. And he just wants to protect his wife at all costs. Like, he just wants to protect his wife at all costs. And I get that so much. And I have over and over and over again dropped cholesterol scores by 30 points or more in 3 months' time. And when you look at total cholesterol only on your lab marker, on your labs, total cholesterol again just shows that snapshot. It does not show the full picture of what it actually means to have high cholesterol. And so it also doesn't tell about the driving factors. It doesn't tell about the fear. A lot of people have fear around cholesterol numbers, and the fear around your cholesterol numbers can actually raise your cholesterol because it is actually making you anxious and it's something you're thinking about all the time. It can also raise because there is, what is it called? I'm sorry, my brain, like, I've been in the clinic all day. The body keeps score. There is a trauma response that can happen where your cholesterol rises when a traumatic event happened in your life. You may not even remember it. You may not even think it's significant enough. And then it goes back down. And then it goes back up when you have stressful Ohio drivers on the road. It can literally go up because of stress. So the question again is, why is the cholesterol rising? And I'm going to give away behind this paywall a little bit more information on cholesterol here because I want you to actually have access to tangible support and that deeper reasoning why. Because I know I put things behind a chat or a paywall, not just because I want your money, anything like that. It's because only specific people that will pay for or give that energetic exchange of their finances to actually hold space for this and actually use the data that I'm giving you and put it to real work. So I want you to have that ability to check in and that ability to just kind of have a different perspective when it comes to cholesterol. So, what I want to talk about is some root causes of cholesterol, where cholesterol things can come from. And if you are not registered for my cholesterol boot camp on, when is it, next Tuesday, the 28th? Is that right? The 28th? I'm looking at my calendar here. Yeah, the 28th at 4 p.m. I'm doing a cholesterol boot camp and you are welcome to come. I will put the link to register. It is free. You can put the link to register in the replay of this. If you want to join, you can absolutely join live, but you do not, or you can join. I'll put it in the live thing here in a little bit. I don't actually have access to the link at the moment because I just wanted to be thoroughly present with you today because cholesterol is something that my family has always feared. I feared. I still get nervous going to get my labs done because, like, you can't hide. And traditional medicine wants to pigeonhole you into this thing of, like, you have to be on their statins, you have to be on their way, you have to be on this. And so this specific patient of mine, her cholesterol is high, but that's the only marker she was looking at. She didn't even look at the other flags of traditional medicine even flagging her thyroid antibodies. If you have hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, or Hashimoto's, your ability to regulate your cholesterol on a normal basis is not going to be the same as a counterpart that does not have Hashimoto's or thyroid issues. You see, the thyroid actually controls your cholesterol levels. Your thyroid is actually typically the reason that women's cause of death is heart disease is usually because it's undealt with thyroid conditions. And so that is a secret that I'm giving away here behind the paywall because I want you to know that There are other reasons why. You are not an identity of high cholesterol. You are not, just because you're overweight, just because you have like, you are normal weight and you eat like crap. Yes, that is part of it. Yes, eating crappy food is part of it. But eating well, if you have thyroid problems, is not going to fix it. It is not going to fix your cholesterol problems. It's also, by exercising, is not going to fix the problems of your cholesterol if your thyroid is out of whack. Isn't that interesting that we always forget? It is because we are so pressured. We are so pressured by traditional medicine, by people who follow traditional medicine markers, that uh, we have to bow down to that little lord of the big pharma and American Heart Association and all of that, because we have been so fear mongered. My endocrinologist I will give his praises till the end of my days. My endocrinologist got a hold of me in my 20s. He got a hold of me in my 20s when I was over 300 pounds. And he knew that every single time my cholesterol was high, he always ran extra lab numbers on my thyroid, because he knew that my cholesterol was not the problem. He knew that my lifestyle, I was eating whatever, but I was exercising a lot, and he could see it on my body. He could see it in my other numbers and my other, even my blood pressure and all those things. He could see that. So his initial thing was not go on a statin, not be scared of the cholesterol. His initial was, hey, let's check that thyroid and a couple of other markers. And that is when he found the Hashimoto's. And ever since my 20s, he has kept, for the most part, my cholesterol under control through my thyroid. So I asked him about it. I asked him about it like when I saw him in February, I think it was. And he said, Danielle, he's like, people may look at you and not think you're healthy, but he's like, you are the epitome of health. You are the epitome of functional health. And I said, well, why? Like, that doesn't, he's like, because you live it, because you do it. You are actively thinking about what is causing, or what would cause all of these inflammatory markers to go high. And he's like, and you have none of them. And so it is very encouraging to have an allopathic doctor who understands that thyroid is one of the leading causes of elevated cholesterol in women. So that being said, that's just one. That is one reason that our cholesterol can be elevated. Another reason, and that's not how we fix it, right? We don't just fix the thyroid. We have to fix what's causing the thyroid issues. So another thing that we can think about when we're talking about thyroid or about cholesterol is we can talk about our food. We can talk about our food. If you are eating processed food makes the body have to fight an illness, a foreign invader of the processed food. That foreign food or that processed food acts like a foreign invasion, which is like what happens when we get sick. A virus comes into our body inflames, gets very heavy, very tired, and that is a sign of inflammation, is when you feel very heavy and very tired. Chronic use of processed foods, chronic use of food as coping increases your cholesterol because it is adding more stress to the body. Not the cholesterol adding more stress to the body, but you are actually adding stress to your body by eating too much, eating too little of nutritious foods, and undernourishing your body. That creates inflammation because it has to pull those sources from somewhere else. Okay. So that is another thing that can be causing our elevated cholesterol. We can also elevate cholesterol by alcohol use. Alcohol use, even like once a week, and you binging is, I forget what the definition of binging is, but literally there is no reason that anyone should be drinking alcohol for any kind of health benefits. Alcohol's health benefits do not outweigh the negative side effects and the negative effects on the body, causing it's just pure toxin going into your body. I choose my toxin to be my bleach. I choose my toxin to be other things. I am not choosing my toxins inside my vital organs to actually cause massive issues with my body. So, alcohol use and abuse can cause the cholesterol to raise. Smoking, in some people, I can't say everybody, but in some people, smoking creates massive inflammation that is just kind of chronic and just like sitting there lingering. The other thing is, okay, so I talked about that, even recreational drug use. And I say recreational drug use, I do mean like the drugs, like the substance abuse kind of things, but also recreational of over the counter drugs. Those can also cause inflammation and cause the body to have elevated cholesterol over time. I'm not saying it's going to happen because we know if you watch my last live, the one that I actually took, I talked about how cholesterol doesn't just raise out of nowhere. It is years and years of chronic things happening that we ignore, that we throw medicine on, that we do these things like we just throw medicine or throw excuses on and ignore and think, oh, I'll deal with it another day. So then when you deal with it another day, you don't even think about how expensive it's going to be to take care of that and how much time it is going to take. Today, I just put on maintenance a patient who is she is part of the or part of the Air Force, and she's a CrossFit athlete, CrossFit coach, and she eats very well. She was having massive inflammatory issues, and she was gaining weight, and she's very lean, and she was gaining weight, and it has taken her since September of last year to get to a place to start going into a maintenance mode. And she today was just like, I am so grateful that I invested the time and the effort now so that I don't have to deal with what my mom and dad deal with now in their older ages. And so I want you to know that, like, by investing in your health now, it's important, and I'm so grateful that you pay for the paywall here and get active in the I keep looking down here, but it's not there. Get active in the Letters from the Wilderness chat, because that chat is where you can ask some questions, you can ask some clarity questions, and we will point you. If it is too personal, we're not going to answer that there because that's just not an appropriate place to do that. But in that chat is where you can start getting some accountability, some reflection, and making this information I'm giving you very applicable to your life. If you need more of that support, that's what Wilderness of Wellness Adventures is. And right now, because you are paid, you get 20% off of the annual subscription in the paid perks. And then you also, if you join now as well until the 28th, so until next week, when you join the Wilderness of Wellness, you're going to get a free 30-minute consultation with our coaches, with one of our coaches for a one-to-one. That is a $220 value that you are getting for free, because we want to make sure in this space that you are getting the help you need and where to start, especially if you're struggling with cholesterol issues, where to actually start in this process. So in my process of healing that. So we talked about nutrition. We talked about even fitness. Fitness is not going to fix your cholesterol, especially if you are dealing with thyroid problems. You're dealing with some other things. So let's talk about blood sugar. Let's talk about blood sugar, and let's talk about chronic inflammation and what is going on. You see, I grew up in a culture where shoving everything under the rug was what was expected, especially of women. Women were especially supposed to not have emotions that we showed live. Women were supposed to be strong, and I don't know if any of you remember the 80s and 90s, but that was all about women's empowerment, women's empowerment. Even like the shows like Roseanne and everything, like the things about feminism, even in the 70s, 80s, 90s, is so different than what feminism is now. But it is what caused this. We women put so much on our plate. We were designed to nurture, to admin our home, and we were not designed to be men. And yet many of us behave like men. We behave like men who don't have male hormones to go and provide and protect. We have so much brokenness in our world, so much brokenness within ourselves, so much sin carrying, like sin that we're carrying, and so much shame that we are carrying. And I want you to know that this is all part of your cholesterol status. This is all part of your cholesterol status. This is all part of the piece that is causing you to have low levels of inflammation when you ignore what is actually going on within you, and you are so focused on everyone else but yourself. You are not taking radical responsibility of yourself. You're actually enabling yourself to die faster. There's no other way to say it. You are enabling yourself to die faster. Every Costco muffin that I ate was enabling myself to die faster. And when I was doing that, I was eating that, and I would go and run, and I could never outrun or out exercise the amount of inflammation that I was hiding and trying to stuff with food, because, hear me out, Because if I felt food in my stomach and felt full, I didn't have to feel the negative emotions that I've been hiding under the rug for decades. And if that rings true to you, can I get an amen in the chat here live, or can I get an amen on replay? Because I want you to know that as a practitioner, I literally get it. I have never been a skinny, weak person. I've always been thick and strong. And I have no desire to be thin. I have no desire to be thin because when you know it, many of my thin folks are actually some of the sickest people I have in here. And it's because they are judged as well that, oh, you look healthy, so of course you're fine. You'll figure it out. But that's actually not the case, and that's actually not fair. That's actually not fair to my thin folks. It's not fair to my overweight folks because there's so much judgment that comes from the healthcare space. And I am here to take up space for you and teach you. I am also in this space to help you lower your cholesterol in the ways that actually lower them. I want you to know that you do not have to walk this health thing alone. If you have elevated cholesterol, if you have been struggling with your cholesterol, you are welcome to join me at my cholesterol boot camp on Tuesday the 28th, Tuesday the 28th at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. And we will be going in deeper on that. At this point in time, this is on Zoom. This will be in a Zoom call. And then I will post the replay here for my paid people only. So that is something that you guys will get. You guys will get the replay for free here as a paid subscriber. And so I want to make sure you do know that that's coming. That will not be anywhere else but here. And but cholesterol also, let me go back to my notes because I've been like totally all over the place at the moment. Let me go back to my notes here. So I'm going to give you in the next few moments, I'm going to give you some things that you need to be thinking about on how to start lowering your cholesterol. Okay. I'm going to give you some foundations, and I'm going to give you some foundations that you can start implementing, and we will talk about them in the chat, not necessarily here, but in the chat in the letters from the wilderness, that chat in the feed there. We will talk about this behind the paywall. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to start kind of just thinking about, think about what kind of environment that your body is living in. What kind of environment are you giving your body to live in? Okay. Because when we think about the environment your body's living in, then that is where everything else flows from. All right. I want to walk through some foundations here and help teach you step by step how to lower your cholesterol and help you to make this happen on your own. And if you need more support, we've got you. Okay. So the first foundation is always going to be blood sugar. Surprise, surprise. But this is almost always where I'm thinking when the cholesterol is high, especially for my Americans. Blood sugar is affected by, and it affects your energy, your hormones, your inflammation, your blood vessels, your appetite, your fat storage, your brain function. And if your blood sugar is unstable and your blood sugar function is unstable, nearly every other system has to overcompensate. That right there is inflammation. That is the pinpoint of inflammation. When your body is unstable, your blood sugar is unstable, and there is overcompensation happening, when you notice it in your energy, your hormones, your inflammation, your pain, your blood vessels, your blood pressure, your appetite, your fat storage. That's when we notice it. This is why you're always going to hear me over and over and over say that diabetes is dysfunction of the blood sugar system. It is the disease state of the blood sugar system. It is not where we start with our health. Okay. So we start getting our blood sugar back under control, getting that settled. And we don't do that necessarily with supplements. Maybe it is supplements. Maybe you do need those, but we do it by getting our body's organs to do the work themselves. That's why in the Wilderness of Wellness, I have my roadmap to health. I have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, literally in order, building your body from ground up to be more solid than it has ever been. I'm going to talk about foundation number 2 is inflammation. When you tell me your cholesterol is raised, my first question is what's our blood sugar status? My second question is where is the inflammation coming from? Because maybe, like I said earlier, maybe your inflammation is coming from poor nutrition. Maybe it is. Maybe it's coming from stress. Maybe you were sleep deprived for the last 3, 4, 6 months because of something. Maybe it came from dysfunction. Maybe you're constipated. Maybe you're having like super loose stools. Maybe you are having incontinence of your bladder. Maybe you have excess body fat, maybe of smoking, environmental toxins. If you live near a golf course, you are going to have glyphosate and atrazine sprayed in your water. It's going to be in your backyard. You're going to be smelling it. Maybe you've had chronic infection like Epstein-Barr. Maybe you have herpes virus of some sort. Maybe you have Lyme. This will raise your cholesterol. It happens. That's what happens. Maybe you have some autoimmune activity. That is going to raise your cholesterol. So my question is not how do we lower your cholesterol? It's like, where's this inflammation coming from? Because inflammation is the second foundation that builds elevated cholesterol. The third foundation I then move to is asking about your liver. I'm asking, like, are you dealing with excess toxins? Because if you are, your liver is on overdrive. Do you have stagnant bile? Are you even able to go to the bathroom regularly? Are you even able to, are you taking a ton of medication? Is that clogging your liver? Are you dealing with, I'm trying to think what else. Are you dealing with reflux? That's a liver problem. That's how you would know that your liver is not working well. Also, if you're an American and you're watching this, you probably have fatty liver or stagnant liver. It just is what it is. We are inundated with so many toxins. Even going outside to breathe, there's toxins in the air. Going to take an ibuprofen, going to drink, oh, I didn't even finish all my coffee. Finishing my coffee sitting here. Everything has toxins in it. I don't want you to be scared and avoid every single toxin because we can't. But the point is that we have to force the liver to do the work itself. If the liver is what regulates the cholesterol and what goes in and out, and the thyroid is messed up, the thyroid, the liver, and your blood sugar are likely those things happening all at once. And so I think about the liver and making sure that that we optimize your liver with that. How you can optimize your liver on your own: drink or eat bitter foods, drink like dandelion, liver teas, those kinds of things will help. But know that when you do that and you do these things without help, with like my team and me walking alongside you, you are going to get tired. You are going to have probably some back cramps thinking you have a kidney infection or a UTI or a kidney stone, because things hurt if you're not doing it right. If you're going too hard and too fast, those are things that you need to have a practitioner and team in your back pocket. And that's what the Wilderness of Wellness is. You have that. So use that tool. If you are here, you get 20% off because you are a paid subscriber, 20% off the annual membership fee to Wilderness of Wellness, and you can join that now. And don't forget, you get a free 30-minute consultation with our coach. And so that way you know exactly where to start and how to get moving through, because not everybody needs to start in the exact same place. Maybe there needs to be some pieces from different parts of my roadmap that you actually need. So then the fourth foundation is lifestyle. I'm always thinking about your stress. I'm always thinking about your liver. I'm always thinking about your blood sugar. I'm always thinking about your inflammation. Okay. But I would be remiss to not be thinking about your lifestyle. And here's where many practitioners skip, I think, like the biggest piece. How are you living? Does your practitioner actually know how you're living? Does your practitioner know how you're actually sleeping? Or are you telling them what they want to know? Are you telling your practitioner that you're using bands and you're exercising, but you haven't gotten off your rump in like 2 weeks? Yeah. I'm going to see right through you because I'm going to listen to you and how you talk about it. Lifestyles also, are you eating enough protein, or are you just saying it? Do you even know how much protein you're eating? Are you even hydrating? Do you even know what hydration means? Because hydration is not just drinking water. Yes, that's part of it. That's part of it. Like, that's just a piece of it. Are you managing your stress? Are you living in constant survival mode? Do you have fights with your spouse? Are you dealing with, like, stepping in did you step in dog poop this morning and slide across the floor? Like, I don't know. I need to know these things. I need to know these things because no supplement can replace that foundation of your lifestyle. No pill can fix your lifestyle. Only you can do it. So, what I want to encourage you to do here today is I want you to make a decision. I want you to make a decision that is, am I going to move forward? Am I going to move forward in taking care of myself now? Or am I going to wait until it's really expensive later down the line when I'm 60, 70, 80 years old? Because I don't know about you, but I want to be present and climbing mountains when I'm 80. So that means that what I'm doing now must be habits set up for that 80-year-old person that can do the work. I want to be present and teaching on my last days. I want to be kind of like the Chuck Norris thing that he was fine until he wasn't, and then he was gone with Jesus. And that's what I want. I don't want my family to suffer because of my decision, my poor decisions like today. I want my family to thrive and be excited and with life and not have to worry about me. And I want to make memories with my kids, my grandkids, their kids. I want to make memories. I want to make memories that matter, impart my wisdom, and I want to learn the new things. I got to keep on the hip and now and know what's going on in the new everything. And I want to be actively engaged and present. I think that that is something that we take for granted the younger we are, but I know far too many people that it's like their life just gets taken to them little or taken from them just little by little by little. It starts with the prescriptions. When the prescriptions don't handle the digestive issues, the prescriptions don't handle the headaches and migraines, and then the prescriptions don't handle the excessive weight gain. And then all of a sudden, walking to the mailbox becomes hard. We don't want to do it. And we don't want to do it because we don't want to be out of breath and we don't want to feel hurt, pain, growth. We don't want to do that. But these are the things that we have to do. I want to be 80, 90 years old walking to my mailbox, getting my mail, complaining about the bills, complaining about the junk mail, and I don't want to be out of breath climbing the hill back up from my mailbox. I don't know, because if I can't walk to my mailbox, that means I can't walk the mall. That means I can't get my own groceries. That means I can't go to a ballpark to watch my kids or my grandkids play something. That means I'm gonna like stop feeling things in my feet so I can't drive anymore. Cholesterol is nothing to be fearful of. What I'm more scared of is not addressing what needs to be addressed and not taking care of myself now so my future self can be proud and alive and active. So, what I want you to do now is I want you to go into the private chat and I want you to, our private chat is the Letters from the Wilderness. I think if you just, I don't know where it is, it's somewhere on here, somewhere on the app. I want you to go to the private chat and I want you to give me what is one takeaway that you've gotten from this video. Because you, as a paid subscriber, get access to this and you only. Remember the boot camp on Tuesday, the 28th. The replay will also be posted here only behind the paywall, so you will get access to that as well. So I will talk to you all soon. I hope you have an amazing day.